doesn't get that opportunity to have these conversations. And so with that said, I'll read the bio as I put Linda on spotlight, put myself on spotlight.
Got a little cute for y'all.
Oh, you look great.
I look cute for you all.
And that's going to the cloud, right, Anitra? Okay, great. So with that said, let's go ahead and get ready to get started. I know more people are going to be coming on. So Anitra, if I don't get a chance to click them in, can you do me a favor and make sure you let them into the room so that they can partake of the conversation with us. So let's go ahead. Linda Clemons. I really just want to tell you, speak from my heart, but I got to give you some of this. Her bio is just so rich that it's critically important you understand who's with us today. Linda Clemons from Indianapolis, Indiana, is the CEO of Sisterpreneur, Inc. Linda is an award-winning record-setting sales producer, as well as one of the top sales trainers in the world. She was not only that in the resort space, which is where she cut her teeth, but just one of the top sales trainers, period, in the world. She cut her teeth in that industry, the resort and timeshare industry, where clients have generated over $2 billion in sales. Linda is a body language expert trained and certified in analytic interviewing and statement analysis, a process used to detect deception. We're going to really get into this. This is good. Her clients and audiences include Southwest Airlines, National Urban League, Nestle, MGM, Major League Baseball, Sodexo, Wells Fargo, Leo Burnett Worldwide, U.S. Customs, U.S. Postal Services, the FBI, Marriott, Hilton, Wyndham, and Starwood, the Food Network, Jackson, Christian Dior, Microsoft, Citi, Women's Presidents Organization, Electronics Representative Association, and her client list. And if I read the rest of them that are on the back, we wouldn't really have time for the rest of this interview to just give you the roster of clients that Linda has. But Linda has also shared the stage with some of the most notables from amongst us, really from amongst America. Oprah Winfrey, once Senator, then President Barack Obama, Steve Wozniak, who is the co-founder of Apple, Dr. Condoleezza Rice, and Mary Jo White, who is the former SEC chair. So without further ado, because I could go on and on, I want to welcome my big sister, friend, confidant, mentor, Miss Linda Clemons.
Thank you so much, Brother Bedford. Thank you all so much. You know, in addition to that, I am the big sister to my biological brother who's on this call tonight, David Townsend, to Brother Bedford and Barrett Matthews. And hopefully by the end of this call, I'll be the adopted sister of everyone that is listening and participating in this call. Again, thank you so much. That is what friendship and honor and respect is all about, to be able to make it a priority to be here with you. I was excited. I said, you know, when I put this date on the calendar, I was not going to let nothing but nothing. What's that part in the movie? Nothing and nothing could keep me away from you. Nothing. So again, I thank you, and to all of you who have taken out your time this evening on this wonderful hour, if you will, to be able to be on this call. December is my birthday month, so you all are a gift to me. So I thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Linda. You're giving us a gift tonight. And like you said, it's an hour, and I want to be respectful of your time and everyone's time. But I want to, this is a very important conversation. I think we hear all the time how important communication is in relationships and business and all of those types of things. And I even thought, you know, I heard the term many years ago of nonverbal communication, but I didn't really know what nonverbal communication was until I met you, Linda, right? To really hear you talk about it, but not only just talk about it, your demonstration of nonverbal communication. It brings down the house wherever you speak. And for those of you who are on the newsletter, I shared a video of Linda giving one of those presentations. It's a must see. And that's just one of many presentations that Linda has done to demonstrate the power of nonverbal communication. But I got to be honest, I didn't really know all of that until I met you. So For the sake of clarity, could you please kind of just first let us know what exactly is nonverbal communication?
Thank you. Thank you for that question. First of all, and I know you all, if you hang out with Brother Bedford and you're a part of this master series, you're taking copious notes. Some of you may be taking it on your computer. Others may be writing it down, which I recommend, because when you take it by hand, you own that note, you own that message, and you are literally writing down that thing or that message or that point or that strategy that is important to you, because the brain does that to get what you need for survival. So, oh, that was a good tip. That was a good strategy. So I want to make sure you're taking those notes and making a commitment to yourself to perhaps put something in action. So nonverbal communication, AKA body language, is one of the most important things that you can possess because it's your first language. Before you were able to speak a word, you were nonverbal. So if you put it in two buckets, you're either verbal, or nonverbal. You're either communicating verbally or nonverbally. So for example, if you are not able to speak, so we have people who are vocally impaired, or for whatever reasons, maybe mute, or doesn't matter, but there's still another language that's taken place, if you will. It's your nonverbal. So how many times have you been in a situation where someone said something that you thought, well, maybe just might have been a little cray-cray, just doesn't make sense. You may not say a word, but I'm looking at Barrett, I'm looking at Melanie or Terrence or Nitra, I'm looking at like, and we're sending signals to each other and we're not even saying a word. Your nonverbal, your body language is so powerful. And I'm going to give you data, because there's some of you out there, of course, you're data driven. Now, this data that I'm giving you is based on a study that was done by Dr. Maharabian out of UCLA. I even still have his little voice message still left on my phone. How archaic is that? The old school phone, right? And so in his study, well over 50 years ago, and it's called the communication theory. In his study, he did with about 100 people, intimate gathering, if you will, one-on-one communication. And he found that our words are 7% of our communication. Now, there are other studies that have done, or put it this way, there are other theories that are out there. So this has been standing a long time. So someone would say, well, Linda, Brother Bedford, what if we speak a different language? Well, now the verbal is gone. The words are gone because you can't understand it. But imagine 7% being your words. Now, why is that important to you? If you are an entrepreneur, entrepreneur, whatever, if you out there, if you are someone that's in business, if you are a speaker, if you are in sales, one of the things you have to make sure that the words that are coming out of your mouth, that they land properly. Every actor in Hollywood is waiting for that script with the right words. So that's what their agent or their managers that get them the script, and they're looking at the script and they're saying, the words resonate with me. It's for me, but it's 7%. And the words are so powerful at 7% that once the words are out, family, you can't retrieve them. So you got to ask yourself, are the words that are coming out of your mouth powerful or powerless, passionate or passive, poison or potent? That's just the words. Leading up to Brother Bedford's question, 38% of your communication is tonality. And, there's a saying that goes, it's not what you say. Come on, y'all, what is it? It's how you say it.
Right.
We're going to do a remix on that. It ain't what you say or how you say it. It's what they hear. So if it goes like this, if I were you, I wouldn't fool with him. If I were you, I wouldn't fool with her. And if you go like this, if I were you, I wouldn't fool with him. Wow, just the way. If I were you, Terrence, I wouldn't fool with her. See, oh my gosh, just the tone can change the meeting. I used to do a master class on sales hypnotherapy. And sales hypnotherapy was simply dealing with the tone. The tone is so powerful that once the listener hears it, that say, for example, if you're in a sales process, that they will begin to feel, simply for the tone, the superlatives, the pregnant pauses, your pacing, all of that, that they will begin to feel or believe that the recommendation or the suggestion that you are making as the professional was actually their idea. simply by mastering a level of tone. So 7%, 38, and now that leaves 55%. Wow, 55%. Brother Bedford, communication nonverbal. So you add the 55 and the 38, that's 93%. So, there's a saying that goes, action speaks louder than words. And one of my other favorite quotes that I love, and I use it quite often in my presentations, it's by Emerson, and I'm going to clementize it a little bit. I cannot hear what you're saying because who you are being is getting in the way. Let that land. I cannot hear what you're saying. Boo, way you acting. It's the way you acting. It's getting in the way. And my late granny would say, baby, I hear you talking, but I don't see you walking. So if your words and your tone and your nonverbal, if all three, now here's my radio life coming in now, speaking in sound bites. If all three don't agree, then there's a disconnect in the communication between you and me. So watch this. If I'm sitting here, Brother Bedford, see, Brother Bedford just asked one question and I go crazy, right? So
I'm taking notes.
If I'm sitting here and he did this wonderful introduction and I come on screen and I go like this, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me. And I'm looking around and not focused. But you're going to notice that my arms are folded. Doesn't always mean, when folded arms, doesn't always mean closed off. It could be that person's baseline, but you may not know it. So therefore, to the recipient, the closed and folded arms looks like you're shutting off the door to the heart. So it's my perception and my primitive vibes that speaks my amygdala, that speaks to your amygdala, that makes me think, okay, is this person cool? What's up with that? And the way you present yourself is very critical. So to answer your question, the nonverbal is everything. And I encourage all of my students, all of my family and my friends to become two things: become a tone master. And this is a tone master. I should have a toy called the Tone Master. Become a tone master and practice it. I mean, if the late Suzanne Summers could have the Thigh Master, Barrett, come on, I could have a Tone Master. And the Tone Master is mastering your tone, Joyce. Mastering your tone. Brother Bedford, I have a body language for dating course on the Mind Valley platform. And glory be, it is doing exceptionally well. And one of the things that I talk about is becoming a tone master and utilizing the tone for seduction, persuasion, convincing, encouraging, for strength, for transformation. So the tone is critical. But if the nonverbal overrules your words and overrules your tone, it's what people will believe. So to answer your question, the nonverbal, your body language is everything.
Wow. This is good. Linda, I'm taking so many notes because you dropped a couple bombs. I'm gonna come back to one of them in just a second because I think you said something about what we should master. And I want to ask you about how we should go about that. But before I do that, you, Dr. Frazier, we always talk about the human connection, right? That how important that is. And one of these skill sets that helps us with that is the communication. But as we're entering into 2024, and now speaking directly to the entrepreneurs and business owners, why is it that we should master this skill set? Because the words are not going to be enough to make these connections moving forward. So why should we be able to read rooms, read people, personalities, all the things that you've been sharing? Why is that so important to master that?
So I'm working on a class for negotiation. It's going to help lawyers and help others who are in the negotiating boardroom, if you will. What's so important? Being in the room. So how many of you know, of course, since the pandemic, of course, we are doing presentations via Zoom, are now social media platforms. However, even past the pandemic, people are still doing it because it's more effective. You can reach more people. However, and make note of this, everyone make note of this, high tech will never, ever, at least in our lifetime, never, ever replace high touch. I'm going to say it again. Somebody say it again, Linda. If I had to tell myself, say it again, Linda. Say it again, Linda. High tech will never, ever replace high touch. You know, a newborn baby really can't survive without that human touch. That's why they have people in the nursery, if the mother is not there or something has happened, to be able to feel the heartbeat. So the human touch is very critical. Do you know it will take you 3 hours, hear me out, 3 hours of face-to-face interaction, just talking, not touching, just talking, not touching, to be able to create a connection that a handshake will do in less than 60 seconds.
Wow.
So even in business, that's why we do the handshake, right? That first connection, if you will, the handshake. Of course, with the pandemic that was taking place, by the way, you know, we were all of a sudden conditioned to be 6 feet away from each other and all of that. And then now we're trying to do the fist bump because we want to touch, we want to touch. Once you shake the hands, chemicals are released from the hands. That's the oxytocin begin, all the good chemicals when you shake hands and you make that connection. So it's very, very critical when you are networking, you know, and making sure when you are net connecting that you are in someone's presence. You are 100, write this down, y'all, that when you're in another person's presence, you are 100% present in their presence. Okay, you must be present. You can't be looking all over the face because they're all over the place. They need to feel that they're the most important person in the world, that they got your attention. In this day and age where we're distracted by so many things, can you imagine giving someone the most precious thing that you can give them that you cannot get back? And that is your time. Mm. So in that connection, and you're standing there and you're connecting with another person and they're telling you about what they do, about their business, their dreams and their aspirations, how powerful it is. And Barrett had an opportunity to attend one of my sessions, how powerful it is to do a confirmation in a way that the person is feeling that, oh my gosh, you heard me, you were listening. Mm-hmm. You got me. Because sometimes when we're in a networking situation, we're so busy trying to think about what we're about to say next. And we miss those critical, magical moments that's coming out of someone's mouth. And that's one of the things for those of you that are in sales. And by the way, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're in business, everyone on this call is in sales because you're trying to convince or persuade or sell someone for your product or service or simply your way of thinking. So it's important in networking. Dr. Frazier and I talk about all the time the importance of building relationships. And you know, I have a thing where I have my what I call my networking bank, my relationship bank. And my relationship bank, Brother Bedford, your relationship bank should be more wealthier and more prosperous than your regular bank account. Okay. See, because I want my spiritual bank account to be bigger than my regular bank account. And the reason why, because the dollars could come and go. But when you are rooted in something strong, when you have sold into other people's lives and you created those kind of relationships, those things last forever. They last forever. Because what I mean by last forever, even when you're gone on, the greatest gift you can have is to leave a legacy and a gift in the lives of others. That's how you become immortal. That's right. When you've touched so many people. So it's important. You know, I value my network. I value, you know, I can have a box of money, let's say 10,000 on the table. And I said this to some of my mentees, have a box of money with 10,000 on the table. And for those of you that are in business, you can have a good list, Brother Bedford, a good list, a good active list, a good list that when you make a call out that you're having a special meeting or you've got a product that just released, that list can activate and buy over and over and over again. The money, someone could take it, man, you got to make it over again. You could do it. But when you have that list and you nurture that and you love that list, as well as your relationships, man, the benefits. Oh,
this is beautiful. This is beautiful. Thank you for that, Linda. You said something, and I'm gonna let everyone else in. So get your questions ready.
Yeah, get your questions ready, y'all.
I'm a plant a couple more seeds with Linda because she said a couple things, and I think these will kind of help to kind of make the ground fertile for some of your questions as well. You just mentioned all of us are in sales. And clearly, Linda, you've been doing this for quite some time. What came first for you? Was it the sales and then getting into body language, or was it body language translating it into sales? Which came first for you?
Great question, Brother Bedford. So because this has been recorded, so I'm going to tell y'all, I've been doing what I've been doing rather than say the years. So this tells me, if you read the good book, I've been doing it about the same length of time that Moses was in the wilderness. So you all know how many years that is. All right. And I know y'all thinking, oh my gosh, I thought she was 21. Thank you. So what started first for me was sales. Listen to me. I could tell this story and my brother could make a comment in the chat. What started for me was sales. I was the #1 candy seller in my elementary school. I still remember, because that was so important to me. I'm the oldest of 4 kids growing up. And, and as the firstborn, sometimes you have to help with your siblings. And all my friends had a bike. And, my mother did what she could. And, we never knew whether we were doing without or whatever, because she always provided a way. But everyone had a bike, and my friends had a bike, and I wanted a bike. And I asked my mother, I wanted a bike. I want a bike. And bike, siblings need this and other things that were priority. And there was an opportunity at our school for a fundraiser to do the candy sale. And guess what the first prize was? First prize was a bike. Man, oh man. Now I'm telling you this, I took the little permission slip home. My mama signed it. And man, oh man, I was a candy selling little phenom. But here's the deal. What did it for me? It was my why. And I'm going to make sure you remember this. How big is your why? Your why should be bigger than your how. Because why you're doing this is the thing that's deeply rooted desire that says, I've got to do this no matter what. It's just that important. When you begin to say how, you begin to weaken the power of your why, because your why is the thing that tells you nothing is stopping me. I won't give up. Nothing is stopping me. So I knew I wanted that bike, but there was something, Brother Bedford, that was taking place during the process. So I'm going all around the neighborhood. The neighbors would buy it, the mailman would buy it. And I'm telling you, I'm dating myself. It was back during the days when there was a milkman that delivered milk. Oh my gosh. Can we edit that part out? All right. Okay, so we can edit it. And the little insurance man would come to the door to get the policy, anyway. Right. We just forget. But anyway, so there was something that I picked up. So when I would go and knock on the door, and my name is Linda, and our school, we're raising funds, and so on and so on, so on, and I'm going to win the bike, and I need you to help. I need you to buy this candy. So they would buy the candy. They would buy the candy. Church folks, they would buy the candy. And I never forget, and I'm going to change the name to protect the innocent and the guilty. So I never forget, I'm knocking on the door, Mr. Washington's door. Mr. Washington, I need your help because I need you to buy some candy from me because I want to win a bike because my mother don't have the money to get me a bike. And she said, no, it's not important right now, but I want to win the bike if I sell most of the candy, right? And he said to me, he said, child, let me tell you what I'm going to do. I'm telling you, come back to me when you're down to your last few boxes and I'll buy them. I said, you promise, you promise? I was just getting it. I was getting it. That's the days, back in those days, you could walk anywhere you want in neighborhoods. You're not worrying about the things we worry about now. And man, oh man, I got down to those last few boxes. There's a saying that goes, if you could see it in your mind, you can have it in your hand. Saw myself riding that little bicycle, my little pigtails. I knew what little outfit I was going to wear. I knew what part of the neighborhood I was going to go. Nah, 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 nah. We're kids, right? And I go by Mr. Washington's house and I knocked on the door. And guess who answered that doggone door? It wasn't Mr. Washington. And Miss Washington was kind of mean. Mrs. Washington was kind of mean. She said, child, what you got going on there? Miss Washington, I'm selling candy for school. And if I sell a bunch of candy, I get to win a bike. And your husband said that when I'm down to the last few boxes, he would buy it for me. Is he home? She looked at me and says, what has he been doing eating? He ain't got no business eating no candy. He got sugar diabetes. Listen, you don't understand, Joyce. You don't understand, Melanie. I could see the gold. I could see the gold. Terrence, I could see the gold. I was just right there. I could see the gold. And she was keeping from, I was shaking in my little tennis shoes. My little pigtails were shaking. And I looked at her. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what to do. This was a grown-up. You know, we were taught to be respectful. Right. Not like these kids today. We were taught to be respectful. Right. And I looked up at her, and all I could say is, I think he wanted something as sweet as you. Girl, give me them last few boxes of good on there. I knew it. I knew it. And my brother could tell you the moral of the story, what happened with that. But let me just tell you this. One of the things that I noticed when they would say to me, when I knocked on the door, they'll go like this. And everybody, if you go like this, and when people do this to you, it's very condescending. You notice if you ever saw my point, you would go like, don't put your finger in my face. And nonverbal, we also call it the gun point when people do this. And that makes you feel bad. People don't like that. But I knew when say, look, child, we ain't buying no candy. These kids coming up and down here, I knew they were serious because the words and the tone and the cadence of the movement, we ain't buying nothing, matched. Now, I'm a kid. How do I know that? Just knowing, watching patterns. That's what I'm challenging you to do. But I knew I had a chance at those houses that when I knocked on the door, Brother Bedford, and they would go like this. Everybody take their hands. Everybody, let me see your hands. Everybody want to see your hands. Come on, in order to accelerate, you must participate. Come on, y'all. Come on. I know some of y'all got the night cream on your face. Come on the screen. So here's what happens. Take your hands and go like this. Everybody like this. And here's what child, listen, look, watch this. Child, we don't need no candy. That gave you now look, just with the hands like this, right. Can't even say it in an angry way. You can't hardly say it because the brain says, wait a minute. The hand is open in the servant's mode. The hand is open in the humility mode. The hand is open in being humble and giving and open to serve. The brain is saying there's no negative thing that matches that. There's no negative matches that. That's why it's very difficult to say to somebody with your eyebrows down just like this, I'm so happy to see you. It's kind of hard because the brain says, yo, Holmes, you sending the wrong message. And so I knew when they said this, and they said, child, we don't need no candy. The voice wasn't curt. It wasn't sharp. It wasn't mean. And I knew I had a chance. Right. So needless to say, I won my bike. And maybe one day my brother can tell you the moral and whatever happened, the part 2 of that story when I won. So
we got to talk about it. Yes. I'm going to talk to him about it. Two more questions, and then we're going to open it up to you all because Linda's got me over. I'm writing. This is good. You kind of just touched on this real quick. So for the novice, because clearly you were a novice at that time, but you were picking up on these signals. For the novice, what are the first steps to mastering tone and hand gestures and all of that? How did you, clearly it was a gift for you because you were doing it, when you were trying to win the bike. But for those of us who are kind of looking at this and, I'm just getting started, how do I get started doing this?
Okay, so for those of you that have children, if you're on this call that have children, and for those of you that have children or ever been a child before, okay? So that covers everybody, right? So I want you to answer this question. How is it that a little girl, little toddler, just a little bitty thing, when she asks her mommy, can I have a cookie? And mom says you can't have a cookie before dinner. Now listen, mom's tone. Can't have a cookie before dinner. We all got mama. We know what mama tone sound like. We know what mama tone look like. We know what mama says, don't make me say that one more again. We know all of that. Help me this, whether she's 4 years old or 5 years old, how does the little girl know when daddy comes home, comes through that door? How does she know how to work her tone, even though her mother says she can't have a cookie? You notice that the little girl won't see when daddy comes in the door, daddy, can I have a cookie? She knows not to say it loud. She knows how to cool up the daddy, how to stroke his cheek. Daddy, I just love you. Look at her little tone. Look at her little tone. Daddy. Oh, and then don't let the little child know how to draw and get her little crayons. She'll bring out some. Look, daddy, look. I made a present for you. How does she know? Was there sales training in the womb How did she know the tone? How did she know how to approach? Daddy, can I have a cookie? Knows which parent to ask. So the tone, how do we know when someone is going through something, Brother Bedford, or perhaps they lost a loved one? Who teaches us to not say, I'm sorry you lost your mom, I'm sorry you lost your dad? What makes us do the soft tone? Because it's the soft tone that is more soothing and more caressing. It's like a verbal hug without even touching them. And so one of the things that I used to do with my master students and with my salespeople, because I ran sales teams, I would bring in elementary school kids. I would bring them in, get okay with the teachers, or bring in little relatives and have people bring their kids in and have goodies and treats for them. And their responsibility was to judge who told the best story. I would have my salespeople, have a child's book, and they would read the story. If it wasn't exciting or inviting or intriguing, then all of a sudden when he opened the door, he heard a noise. If it wasn't, the child does not know the manners or protocol, would yell out, "It's boring. It's boring." Can you imagine these adults being judged by a child that is boring? Because look, they're doing it when they're young. When we are as adults and you go on those presentations or you are at a sales meeting or what have you, if you're thinking, oh my gosh, when is this over? We know, but we're more polite. We are more refined, where the children are more authentic. And the reason why I would have my salespeople read the story so they could begin to see what's happening when they don't have the right tone to invite them in. So here's your quick course on the body language once again. If your words and the tone and the nonverbal, if all three don't agree, then there's a disconnect in the message. So watch this. If you say to me, Linda, how do you like your new VP? How do you like your new director? And I go like this, oh, he's okay. She's okay. The moment that you see the shoulder shrug, any asymmetrical movements, cancels out the verbal. He's okay. She's okay. Whoa, you heard the words. Doesn't matter what you say, your nonverbal will get in the way. So at the basics, test, by the way, and people always ask me all the time, can you tell if someone's lying? I can detect deception, and I can detect when someone's withholding information. Now, doesn't mean that they're lying. They could be protecting someone. So to give you another example, I was at a meeting. There was a bunch of women together, we're doing girl talk at the lunch. And there was a subject that came up about something on a reality show where they later found out in the news that the woman was being abused by her husband. And one of the women at the table did this. Check this out, Bear, did this. I know, I know, honey, ain't no man gonna hit me. And everybody go, what you think about this? What you think about this? But there was one woman at the table that when she heard that, she got real still. Wow. Prolonged stillness is not natural. She got real still. So as the other woman's voice was, better not, the tone of the voice triggered this other woman. So I noticed when hands were on deck, and when I say hands on deck, that means your hands on the table, everybody leaning in, like, hey, yeah, what's going on? What y'all gonna do this weekend? Leaning in. All of a sudden, she was taken aback. And y'all seen this before. Watch this. So when do you see this body language movement? Have you ever had somebody say something to you? Did you hear? Can you believe? What? Taken aback. So noticing the timing when that happens is very, very critical when you say something. So when I'm working with law firms on jury selection, there's a series of questions that I use, and there's a series of questions that you may be using in your sales process. Then you'll begin to notice a pattern. And the pattern goes like this. If I ask the customer, the client, this question, so Brother Bedford, so Terrence, so Joyce, so Anitra, so let me ask you this question. Let me ask you all this. Is there anything besides the money? that will prevent you from moving forward. So what if the person's hands were on deck? They were looking at your paperwork, looking at the offer. They were kind of excited and everything. And then all of a sudden you said, is there anything, palms open, or is there anything besides the money that will keep you from moving forward? What would happen if you see this? Hands come off the table, go on the thighs, and they start thigh cleansing. Everybody raise your hands. Raise your hands. Come on, everybody. Put them on your thighs. Put them on your thighs. Start stroking your thighs. Have you ever seen that before? So notice the timing. Now, so notice that if you're in a meeting and then all of a sudden things get a little heated, something going on. Something's going on. Who took the report? Who leaked the information to the press? The person is getting nervous because chemicals are being released from the hand and they're doing the thigh cleansing or thigh stroke because it's a self-pacifying gesture. They're trying to calm themselves down. So it is critical in reading nonverbal communication to read them in clusters. What does that mean? More than one movement. Don't just judge me off this. Don't cut off that screen because you see me doing this. The next thing you know, I get a jacket or a scarf. Oh my gosh, Linda was cold, but I missed my blessing because I judged her on the first movement. So you want to read them looking for more than one movement. So if I'm doing this, then I do this, then I got a jacket. Well, gosh, I was cold. So can you imagine if you judge me on one movement, how many times that we as people of color quite often not only judge from the color of our skin, by the way we dress, that's a whole nother language. The colors that you wear, a whole nother psychological language. So all of this makes a difference if you are going to have the power to persuade, to convince, to convert, okay, and preserve relationships. I get a little talkative.
No, this is good, and it is oft, and you and I talk often, but you still keep blowing my mind every time I'm talking to you. So I got one.
Blow your mind.
I promise everybody, I only got one more question now. And then so raise your hand if you want to get in line in the queue to ask Linda your question. Barrett didn't even waste no time. I said, raise your hand.
Barrett ain't right.
But I ain't even said yet, brother.
Barrett ain't right.
So Barrett raised his hand. So here's my question, and it's closely related, but I've been asking questions. I was about to say we've been asking, but I've been asking these questions about, business and communication. But when I watch your demonstrations, a large portion of it that really just knocks the audience out is the relationships, the male-female relationships. And in fact, you've told the story of people taking you on their dates with them so that you can look at who they're, I guess, questioning to see if they're appropriate or whatever. So can you speak to that part of?
Oh yeah, I tell a story all the time. Listen, and by the way, for those of you that notice that you look at Brother Bedford in this frame, and you also notice that he's using his hands. So if you are going to continue to do Zoom presentations, it's very important you use hand gestures and movements, okay? Move with purpose. People need to see your hands, more importantly, the palms of your hands. If you watch TED Talk presentations, some of your most successful TED Talk presenters, and I'm talking about those with millions of views, use well over 422 hand movements in an 18-minute span.
How many?
Over 422. You'll be surprised. Wow. Look at this. Look how our hands are moving. Just imagine. So in 18 minutes, don't tell them how many that I've done already. And so the reason why the palms are exposed, here's a little secret for you. Here's a little tip. Now, y'all keep this between us. It's going to be your superpower. See, it's very difficult unless the person is a psychopath or sociopath. Hear me out. To lie for extended period of time or be deceptive with their palms exposed, because the brain is not wanting the palms exposed because you're being deceptive. And so a person who is being authentic, if you will, I'm not talking about a method actor. See, a method actor, Juilliard Train or whoever, I'm not talking about that. But when you are speaking authentically and truthfully, quite often, another way as speakers, and by the way, they don't teach you this in speaker training. No one teaches this. Everybody out there doing speaker boot camp, but no one teaches you this from speaking from the heart right here. And they don't teach you connecting gestures. So it's very, very important when people see your hands. You don't think it's important if you are in the financial industry? and you're not showing the palms of your hands. So your client says, so let me ask you this, if I invest in this, do you think this is safe? And do you think it's the best place for my money? And your hands were up like this. And all of a sudden you go, absolutely. Oh my gosh. Alert, 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 alert to the brain. So a lot of my friends, so here's the story. I tell it all the time. I have not purchased groceries. Number one, I travel a lot. But number two, I've not purchased groceries in over 15 years. Number one, I can't keep it in my house because it'll spoil because I'm gone a lot. But quite often, a lot of my girlfriends and guy friends invite me out to dinner or lunch. And I like fine dining, honey. I'm just going to tell you, I like fine dining. So when we go to these shoo-shoo-poo-poo restaurants, because that's how I have to pick, shoo-shoo-poo-poo restaurants, and we go to these restaurants, it starts off like this: girl, I haven't seen you in a while, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, who is he now? Okay, I haven't seen you in a while. Girl, we need to catch up, go to dinner. Who is he? So you know the deal, you know the place. And so I often get invited out. But here's the deal. My friends, they know. They've been around me long enough. You know, if there's something in the words of Keith Sweat, something just ain't right. You know it. Y'all know it. Something just ain't right. You know it. Granny knew it. Granny knew it when you brought somebody home and said, baby, something about his eyes that just ain't right. You know it. So what it is, they bring me for the next level validation. And I got to tell you a quick story. So one of my friends, I'm not going to mention her name because she said, I'm tired of you using my story. She said, I'm going to charge you. But anyway, she invited me out, and this guy that was sitting there, I began to ask him a series of questions. I like to begin to peel the onion. You do that in the sales process. You do it in the negotiation process. So I did an eyebrow flash. So y'all can practice. Eyebrow flash goes like this. So, look at that. So, how long have you and my girl been dating, right? And he said, about 2 or 3 months, okay? Then I got level head. Level head, that means keep your head level. You ever heard your mom or somebody say, keep your chin up, keep a level head? Brothers will tell other brothers, man, don't go with your head down, hold your head up. You know what I'm talking about, Brother Bedford, is keeping that head level. Don't bring it down. So I was real level-headed, meaning time to be serious. And I leaned in, the vocal tone changed. And I said, so have you ever been married before? Crickets. You could hear crickets. Then he responded, sorta, kinda. Look, okay, you see Joyce, Joyce go, what? You see these people say, what? Come on now. So that alone sent out a signal. And then at the dinner table, he started thigh cleansing. Instead of looking at the menu, I'm looking at the menu because I'm going to order everything to take some other stuff home, because we've been going through this every 3 months. I'm going to order some more stuff. And so needless to say, they are not together. They didn't stay together because there were some things that was revealed regarding infidelity, lack of trust, being truthful, so on and so on and so on. So just that question was either a yes or no question. It was a yes or no question. So if you ask me, Linda, are you Black? Do I got to go, wait a minute, hold on, give me a minute. Am I Black? I'm cafe latte. No, I'm Black.
Right.
See, so I got many stories to tell. So, but I'm telling you, these things that are in front of you. Now you're going to pay more and close attention. When you ask your kids, did you do your homework? So here's the deal. When you ask your kids the same thing over and over again, did you do your homework? Ask on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. What happens is they begin to formulate a stronger response to satisfy you. Try this. When they say, yeah, mom, I did it. I already did it. And they didn't. Something in it, that they didn't, because they answered too quick, first of all. But there was something going down. So here's what you want to do. You want to ask a backup question that goes like this. Oh, wow. Show me what you've been working on. Crickets. Because they didn't practice that. They weren't prepared for that. And the last thing that I want to tell you, oh my gosh, I'm eating up all my little time. I won't be able to talk to the people. Listen, the last thing I want to tell you, people ask me all the time. So y'all come in close. Come on, y'all. Come on. We got to keep this. Come on in. Come on in. So one of the things about when people are lying, so let's say someone comes in and your team member, whatever, and you say, okay, tell me what happened. I need you to tell me what happened. Give me your side of the story. So I'm listening to her side of the story. Then I'm listening to Joyce's side of the story. Thank you, Pamela, for coming on. Then I'm listening to Pamela's side of the story. So let's just say we get to Kevin. I'm just using a different name, Kevin. And there's something going on with Kevin. Can't put my finger on it. So as Kevin is telling the story to me, Kevin is real still. He's still like this. So look at me, y'all. So here's what happened. It was like 2:00 yesterday, not going into visual, not going into auditory. And people who are being deceptive are thinking up the story as they go along. So I listened to Kevin. I gave him facial validation, affirmation, confirmation. I didn't just look at him like this. So I'm going like this. Okay. 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 And then at the end of his story, I did this. Okay. When I exhaled, what do you think Kevin did? Kevin exhaled too. Do you know why? Because guess what? He was telling the story, barely breathing, and he exhaled like, she bought it. Gotcha, Kevin. Busted.
All right. Wow. This is good. This is good. Look, I got 2 more questions. No, I don't have no more questions.
See, y'all get on Brother Bedford. He done said 2 more questions, 20 questions ago.
I'm done.
Think up y'all questions.
I'm done. But this is so rich and so fascinating for me. I mean, it's, when something is energizing and fascinates, you kind of want to probe more and more, but I'm gonna be obedient. And we're going to open up for everyone else's questions.
He can talk to me anytime.
Yeah, I know you all got some great questions. But see, we're always talking about different things, right? The conference and blah, blah, blah. So these are the conversations. This is good. This is juicy. This is real good. So look, Barrett. So we're going to open it up for you. Barrett, my brother, it's good to see you first and foremost.
Great, brother.
Go ahead with your question.
And Linda, great to say. I love you, Linda. I had to say that first. I love you, and I owe you a phone call. And yeah. So I don't actually have a question. I just want to tell everyone, as one of the original Clementines, I just want to tell everyone. I want to tell everyone that if you have the opportunity to pay Linda to coach you, do it. I'm telling you. How long ago was that? Like 2017 that I was with you?
Yeah.
I'm still using everything I learned there. I'm still teaching people. I'm still watching where people's feet are when I'm talking to them. I am doing all of these things that Linda. I was just telling someone last week something Linda taught me. I ride Southwest Airlines. I don't put the magazines there no more because I want to see Linda's. I am a huge Linda fan. And I'm just telling you guys, if you get an opportunity to do so, one quick story real quick. We were at a conference. Linda held this gentleman's hand and she told the man, "You need to call your mother." What she is the day before she arrived, I was talking to that dude, me and some other people, and the guy said he hadn't talked to his mother in years. And she grabbed his hand and said, "You need to talk to your mother." Yeah. So I'm just letting y'all know, the woman has a gift. So talk to her. I'm done.
Yeah. And see, Barrett had the opportunity when Barrett was here for that particular training, unbeknownst to the group at that time. Barrett, you remember I had a big conference going on, and they were like shocked, like how she never left our side. And because Brother Barrett, you know how I am about structure and systems and everything. So we had a ball. I miss you, Barrett.
Loved it.
Man, this is great, man. Let's keep going because I got planning to see something else, man. Let's keep going. Joyce, you raised your hand next, Joyce. What's your question for it?
So good evening and thanks again. I'm trying to condense a million questions to one. So it's kind of a 2-part. And thank you again for being here tonight. What's the one thing? So you mentioned about palms, and so that's in doubt. Is there something else that you would suggest people do when they get on stage to do and a not to do, like a to do and a not to do when you're talking to an audience?
Okay, and Joyce, specifically for you, I'm going to say this for you, and if anyone else can use it, it's fine. One of the things that's so important for you is that, when you're doing your presentations, you like to make sure that all your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed. Almost, Joyce, borderline perfection. And sometimes you're more harder on yourself. So I'm saying this for you because it has to be right. And I know, girl, you got it going on. You come across poised and polished. But here's what I want to say for you, and it's very, very important as a speaker, is that it is very critical to be able to connect with your audience so that they know that they can approach you, that you are touchable, if you will. No one and everyone hear me out, no one wants to do business with someone who is perfect. What you think about this? So when I used to do speaker boot camps, I would have my speakers include something and Joyce, that's a mistake. That's a mistake. So for example, I'm giving you, and not necessarily a mistake or something that will show that they're not perfect, because you're given the data, you're given the numbers, you're poised, you're looking fabulous. And you know, you like your little system, Joyce. Everything's got to be right. You know, we know, Joyce, it's got to be right. So I would go like this. So I'll say, one of my favorite actors, and oh my gosh, I mean, just getting into character, I love him. Oh my gosh, I can't think of it. It's just so embarrassing. He played in Silence of the Lamb. Does anybody know? Clarice, who is it?
Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins.
Okay, now did y'all hear what I said earlier? One of my favorite actors. If it was my favorite actor, would I know the name? Absolutely. So when the audience yells out, Anthony Hopkins, that lets them know we're able to help the speaker. We're one. See, does that make sense, Joyce? That little strategy there. And I tell speakers they're in center, either stage right, stage left, center stage, walking from center stage to the edge of the stage, as if if I can just come down there, if I could just be with you so they can feel it, whether it's 500 or 5,000. That's what's critical. And the last thing I want to say to you, to Joyce and everyone else this is applicable to, know everything you tell, but you don't have to tell everything that you know. Know everything you tell. You don't have to tell everything that you know. Be an expert on your subject. Know everything you can about your subject, because the worst thing that can happen is someone in the audience raises their hand and they know the latest data before you do. Credibility is gone. So become an expert on your subject. But the thing that would take you to the next level is becoming the expert on your audience. Know your demographics, know who's in the audience, what's the age, what's their challenges, know everything. Don't come in there diva dip, and that's for the ladies, and for the men, Devo dip. Don't come in there like that. And when you do that, then you'll draw more unto you, if you will. I hope that was helpful.
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You keep sparking stuff, but I'm gonna keep it rolling. Pamela, we gotta do a part 2, because I got 4 more questions that I need to ask Linda myself. So Pamela, you got a question?
Hi, Linda.
Hi, Pamela.
I'm not going to tell my stories like Barrett, because I got some good ones, but Linda is the bomb. She is everything that Brother Bedford is saying she is, and more. If you get a chance to see her, work with her, do it. It'll pay off in spades. So my question is this: as I'm rebranding myself and my business, what are the key words that I should start using in my copy?
Okay, so one of the things you want to know as you are rebranding, I want you, Pamela, to get something. The old folks used to say, get somewhere and stay put. Okay, be careful of shiny objects. Shiny objects is one of the newest thing. Then you may say, I'm gonna add that in. There's something else. You know what I'm talking about. There's something else comes. I'm gonna add this. Okay, see, that's what you're doing. So I'm doing what I call quick reads on y'all when I do this. So you're adding in different things rather than getting into that one thing that you were destined to do, that this is part of your purpose here in life, to do that one thing, because your goal, I want you to slay in your lane. So remember that in 24, I'm going to do more, but I'm going to slay in my lane. I'm going to master that. Just like someone thinks of a beverage, they think of a soda, whatever, they think of that beverage, Coca-Cola. If they think of a burger, whatever that's branded, you want to be known for that. Now, here is the thing. When you lead in your copy, one of the best things that you could do from a marketing standpoint is to lean with the pain. Okay? Tired of trying to lose weight? Haven't been able to find love? You see what I just did? Want the partner of your dreams? You see what I'm saying? I'm leading with that. That's the thing that catches them at hello. You see what I'm doing?
Yes,
It's not
ma'am.
about me. It's
Right.
about them. And
Always
being able
about
to
me.
identify the pain of your egoic label, your egoic market, that is your demographic that you serve. When people say, I say, who's your demographic? Who's your audience? Everybody. That means the person hasn't laser into what they do. So when you find out what keeps them up at night, what do they eat? You could, you can't tell me that Harley Davidson doesn't know everything about the people that buy their motorcycles. You can't tell me that Apple doesn't know everything about Apple users. I mean, my gosh. So when you know everything about your ideal customer to get them to become a client, then you can lead in your copy with the things that keep them up at night. So just imagine, you've got the best product in the world. You have the best product in the world. You have the best service in the world. You have the answer to blank, but no one knows who you are. You see what I just did? Wow. So when you got it, girl, you got it.
Oh, mic drop.
This is good. This is good.
I normally have my little mic with me somewhere. I got a microphone. I can drop my little mic.
Yeah, people in the chat saying that's good. Yeah, that was excellent copy. So I'm glad that this is recorded, right? So you can kind of snatch that. Linda, are we okay for 3 more questions?
Yes.
Okay, so with Audrey, you're going to be the last one, and we'll move in order. And I believe this is it Yovanda? Is that how it's pronounced?
Yes, Yovanda.
Yovanda. Okay, Yovanda, what's your question for Linda?
Yes, I don't have a question. I just want to tell Linda, thank you. I met Linda at SpeakerCon 2019 in Arlington, Virginia, and it was life-changing. And I listened to...
Is that the event that I was just sneaking in to support?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Bedford. That wasn't the one the year that you and I and George had the award. I was just, I snuck in early from Mexico just to try to support a sister, came in on a red eye, trying to hide in the back. And then it was so funny. Cheryl said to Stacy, but first thing she said, Stacy, Dr. Stacy and C. Grant Sherwood said to Stacy, Linda registered for the speaker com. She registered. She know her money ain't good up in here. And then Stacy said, that's how big sis is. She always supporting. So sis, I'm trying to sit in the back. Check this out, Brother Bedford, just real low key. And the next thing you know, Cheryl said, ain't no way in the world I'm gonna have her up in here and not bring her on. Did we have church combination of everything?
Combination of everything. And it was, I saw you on stage when Cheryl called you up, and I just started crying. I'm like, she is up there prophesying to these people. And I had been praying, because I'm a pastor as well as I have my own business. And I had been praying, Lord, how can I use my gift in the marketplace without saying in the name of Jesus? And I saw you on stage do it.
Yeah.
And I want to tell you, thank you, that I have been doing it ever since.
Beautiful.
And on your birthday, I send you an email. I don't email you any other time, but only on December 26th to tell you happy birthday.
Thank you so much, Queen. Thank you so much. And she said something very, very critical, like in the corporate world, because a lot of people will say, I'm not going to not say who I, as it has nothing to do with it. It ain't about who you say who you are. You're not your talk, boo. You talking to body language expert. It's your walk. If you walk in the anointing, if you walk like you're righteous, if you walk like you care, you walk like a servant, you don't have to go around saying it. When people tell me that, oh, I'm a positive person, I'm a this person, you don't need to tell me, just be it. And so it's so important. So when I'm in corporate America, because people know and my clients know I love reading. I read anywhere from 3 to 4 books a month. Dr. Frazier and I share the same thing. We just love to read. And I'll say something like this, one of my favorite books, and it talks about a strategy if 2, 3 or more gathered. Create your masterminds. Now, those that know, they know. You don't have to come to me. You can say, what book she talking about? Get my book. What book? Then the other person could say it. They know. They know. And there are different things that you can do. And man, they get it. And you could begin to transform and bless people. I guess one of the biggest things, I was in Fiji. One of my clients gave me a gift to Fiji to come over before I was training in Australia. And this woman, young lady, Asian woman, Buddhist, start crying. She calls her mother and says, "Mother, we have a trainer from the United States. Number one, she's a woman. Number two, she's a woman of color. But mother, something happened that I can't explain. She's a Buddhist. Something happened. Mom, I don't understand that when she was teaching and she was talking and she was walking, Mom, something happened that came through my body. I don't know what it is. I think I'm coming down with something." Come on now. She felt the shivers. I think I'm coming down with something, but I don't know what it is. So you can do those things through your act and your demonstration. Thank you, Queen.
Thank you. God bless.
Beautiful, Yolanda. Thank you so much for that question.
We got a couple more. I've got a couple more, Brother Bedford. Don't cut them off.
No, we got a couple more. We got a couple more.
Okay, all right.
Oh, my brother Hazik, how you doing, dear brother?
Hazik.
So good to
I'm
see
doing
you.
good,
Thank you for
King.
joining us.
Hazik, my brother.
Listen, I saw Miss Linda Clemons was in the house. I had to be here. Like, I met you through Dr. Frazier as well. And you were in the room and just blew this standing room only room away. I still have this handout you gave out with these like 16 squares on it, I think it was. And it's just amazing. And I was wondering because I kind of like Brother Bedford, like we're sort of kindred spirits in a way that we have tribes of entrepreneurs. And I was wondering if you have any kind of affiliate, any kind of thing that I can help you sell, like put you in front of everybody. And if you have some kind of affiliate program or something like that. I added you on Facebook, so maybe we could talk in inbox.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Let you know
I'm working on quite a few projects for 2024. So you all stay tuned, and I'm going to be announcing a few things on Brother Bedford's platform here.
Yes.
So I'm going to be doing, of course, more webinars, more live events, hopefully Zoom meetings like this, because I think we all gel. We're having fun here. You notice that when you're having fun and getting good food, no one worries about the time. See, that's the thing. So keep in mind, do good Zoom when you all do Zoom presentations. But yeah, my brother, I'm working on some things, and just kind of stay tuned. And I appreciate you, and I would love your support. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay, I'll stay tuned.
Yeah, we definitely gonna stay connected on that. And as Linda mentioned, so that's kind of like a wait, there's more coming soon. We'll have a major announcement coming real soon with Linda. So
new Clementines, Clemidors, whatever.
coming soon. So stay connected. So thank you for that, Hazik. And of course, we're gonna find some other ways to kind of support Linda. And again, she said it at the beginning, to be your sister. So you need to start attaching to her as on all of the social media platforms.
Please, Instagram, LinkedIn. You know, my niece has got me to make sure she says, "Auntie, give out your Instagram at Linda Clemons." So y'all follow me on Instagram. Gotta do all this stuff here.
This is awesome. Audrey, let's get your question in. I'm looking at the clock, but we're going to be respectful. Linda's gracing us.
Hi, as my daughter would say, there's Auntie Linda. She should be back on here because she's in corporate now. I told her this would be good. But the impact you had on her, as I think she was only like 16, 17 at the time and attended one of your trainings, was wonderful. But one thing that I learned to do, and this was good as you talked about being on Zoom, and I do use a lot of hand movements, but with my students, I'm learning to change my tone. And I learned that when I lower it, then they get real quiet. Because if you want to pass, you do what I tell you to do, you know. But in terms of stories, is it better to, I have a lot of stories that I'll include my daughter in, but should I just say someone because it sounds too much like you're always talking about one person. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So here's the key with stories. You got to have a cadre type of stories. You have your personal stories, you have third-party stories, you have credibility stories, you have world stories, you have expert stories. And every time, and not all the time during the presentation, but anytime that you want to make a point that you want to really land and stick, attach a story to it. If you tell a story, make sure that a point is attached to it, because what's the purpose of the story? So the story should be truthful, okay? It should be relevant, and it should be applicable to that objection and that need. So if you tell, so let me just tell you a little story about da-da-da-da. You might have heard the story before, wise tale or this and that, or a little parable or whatever. You could state, or let me just tell you a true life story that happened. So setting it up so they'll know, all right? But it has to be able to answer a pain point, if you will, or use to tie in or create a bridge to bring them over from thinking about it to maybe, I'm going across the bridge. This is sounding good. And on the other end, I'm in. So remember, it has to be relevant, because if the story is not relevant or applicable, then next thing you know, then you lose them. And if you confuse them, you lose them. So when you utilize your daughter, it's fine for some stories, but you should have enough experiences with students, enough clients, or the things that you can use other stories. You know what? I had someone in here just like you, and I'm just going to use her first name or use, another name. And her situation was similar to yours. And here's what she found. Wow, because now lets that person know, I'm not the only one. There's someone else out there like me. Okay? Because when you use your daughter all the time, it's a bias. Sense, yeah.
Yes.
So when you pull other stories in, says, you know what? The Joneses were in here. The Smiths were here. So that's a general way when you use using their surnames. The Joneses were here. The Smiths were here. The Matthews were here the other day. And their situation was just like yours. To the point that blah, da, 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 da. But here's what they found. And here's what the consequence would have been if they hadn't moved forward. So now the story relates to them as opposed to a hypothetical or something like that.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent.
Sense? Yeah. So
yes. Yes.
Because people, you ever hear somebody on a stage, a speaker, tell a story and you go like,
where'd that come from?
Where'd that come from? Well, did you get it? Now you're done. When that happens, now you're done. You're done. You don't want to hear nothing else, because your brain is thinking, wait a minute, hold on. She going on to the next part. What does that have to do? Why did all of a sudden he start telling an alligator was at his breakfast table eating a waffle? Where'd that come from? And we're talking about world crisis. Where'd that come from?
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Give your daughter my best.
Okay, I will.
She's so precious.
Thanks.
Linda Latoya says, this has been so insightful. She says, thank you. Miss Francois says, we have to have you back again. Very dynamic. I'm just scrolling through here. I'm seeing prolific, changed my life. All of these wonderful, wonderful statements about it. This is good. So
I'm going to call up George. I'm going to say, wake up. Did you change any lives when you were on Brother Bedford's car? I didn't think so. I've known Doc for 30 years.
This is good. I do want to ask you one question, but before we close out, because I want to thank you so much, Linda. Everyone else has said thank you. Life-changing. This is great. And I'm taking your advice, Ms. Francois. So of course, Linda will be back probably a few times. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. One of the things I want to talk about, I'm gonna save it just to kind of close. So I know a few people had asked about the replay. If you go over to brotherbedford.com, I send out now just a Sunday morning newsletter. And that's so if you want the replay, I'll send it to you. Just go over there and get on the newsletter and I'll send it to you. And of course, Linda, what are the all of the handles? That is it just at Linda Clemons?
At Linda Clemons. Yeah, at Linda Clemons. My name, it's so important to me to be in integrity with folks and to take care of people, that my name itself is a registered trademark under the U.S. Department of Copyright. So I actually got the R, just like the Coca-Cola, the McDonald's. I have the R behind my name. So
awesome. Awesome. Another lesson, y'all.
Another lesson, y'all.
We're taking notes. We're taking notes. Now, so here's my final question. So I'm gonna say one more announcement. Let me make this announcement because I don't want to come back after you talk. This next question, Linda, I don't want to follow up with no more questions, no more announcements, because I'm gonna ask you something that I've been just observing from you, and I don't want to interrupt that. We're just gonna sign off after that. So next month, Mike Roberts will be here. It's very rare that you get an opportunity to have conversation, ask questions from someone who's built a billion-dollar company, right? At one time, the third Black billionaire behind Oprah and Bob Johnson some years ago. And so he's going to be coming in next month to talk about the future of business and some of the things that he's working on. So I just wanted to get that announcement out of the way. Of course, make sure you follow Linda Clemons at Linda Clemons on all of her handles: Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, website. Go to her website to get on her list, to get information from her and updates. And of course, when the big announcement comes, she'll come back and we're going to kick off some things here. So we're going to kind of build up to that. So with that said, my question, Linda.
I'm going to need you, family. I'm going to need you, by the way. Okay.
As a matter of fact, let me see. A couple of statements already said, all you got to do is let us know. Let me see who said that. Say Pamela said, just DM me. All you got to do is DM me. And I'm there. Pamela said she's always learning so much from you. So we got the Army ready to go. Hazik already said, Hazik got a team of people as well. So you and I will link up, brother. When we're ready to make this big announcement with Linda, we'll all coordinate to make it happen. All right.
New Clementines, Bear. We got new Clementines coming on.
So my question, it's not, I don't want to make it seem like it's heavy, but Linda, I've just been observing you. And you just have this ability to read people. So your advice and your counsel is never generic. And as Barrett said earlier, because I didn't know we was going to go there, but Barrett said, I said, damn, Barrett, why you say that? Because now you make me want to ask Linda. I got to ask her now, because he is so right. I've been in the room and you would say something to someone and they'd be looking like, how in the hell did she know this? I've seen the presentation with the energy and being able to have people connect and touch one person and not touch the other person, but the other person says that you've touched them. So I've been an eyewitness to all of this. And I want you to wrap up with this. Is this just a gift that you've been working on, or is it just something that is just intuitively ingrained in you that you just do this without any practice? I don't know if that's the right word, because you just do it so effortlessly. And it's a marvel to watch you touch people. Let me ask you, matter of fact, one qualifier for this.
Video. I didn't realize the video was out there. People kept asking me questions about something, and I thought it was something that they saw on the PNC stage.
That video's out there.
I said that video, because see, lots of times people videotape you at their events and you may not know it. So you know what I'm saying? Because you sign those releases and things of that sort.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So here's the qualifier, and then you can answer it, Linda, and then you can just kind of tell us, because here's the thing, because I know Joyce. Joyce, wasn't she on point about you?
I was in here in shock, trying not to do the inhale. Absolutely on point.
That's what made me say, I got to ask Linda about this, because I know Joyce. And when she said, Joyce, this is for you. It may be applicable to everyone else, but for you. And you just went down the line just based upon your interaction or your reading of people. So where does it come from, Linda? I guess that's my question.
So thank you, Brother Bedford. And I want to say again, it is something that we all possess, but it's just like a muscle. If you don't exercise that muscle won't get strong. So, I never forget when I took up Pilates. Man, there were some muscles that were sore that I didn't know I had, that were sore. And I'm thinking, how come I'm so sore? Because you're not using those muscles. So I make a conscious effort to practice my craft. Earlier in my career, I watched television for about 15 years with the sound off. So now people say, I guess nobody comes over your house to watch movies. Well, no, they don't. But I practice that because, and let me just tell you why. If you take your favorite movie, so Brother Bedford, this is for you and everyone else. Take your favorite movie that you've seen at least 3 times. Everyone do this 3 times. Don't get anybody to watch it with you because they're going to get upset because you're not going to have the sound on. Get your notebook. And I want you to start noting things that you are seeing in the movie. There you're going to think, that wasn't in there before. So because now you're forced to be more observant. That's your first little piece of homework. So if you were doing a master training with me, that would be one of the first things that you will be required to do. And you have to sit there. Now, what if you can't sit there and watch the whole movie that you've seen 3 times? Now you're not going to have the patience to be able to observe the things you need to observe. So when I'm observing these things and I'm asking specific questions, I'm watching for micro expressions. Micro expressions is like, you ever see someone do this when somebody walks in the room and you go, oh, hey, and they leave, you go, see, so I'm going like this, hey, and now they leave, they go, see, and then they come back in and you try to bring it back. So those micro expressions are those little teeny movements that you try to suppress, but they come out. And when they come out, it's called leakage, like a leakage, because it's leaking out, it's seeping out. Now, how does that, what does that do for me? And what do it for you? So I'll ask a series of questions to people. You notice though, Brother Bedford, when I do this, and y'all notice on stage, I'm always asking questions. And, and one of the things that I do that you won't see any other body language expert do, I'll ask for volunteers. I'll say, I want to make sure I don't know anybody, that I didn't meet you in a hall or anything like that. And because I usually stay hidden before I speak. If you knew it for me at PNC or back in the back, I'm usually pretty low key. And then they'll run up on stage. And it's amazing to me, people run up on stage. They don't know what they volunteer for. They just want to get in. And then every now and then I'll have a little introvert that's saying, I don't know what it is. Should I go? Should I not go? And their friends will say, go, go, go. And the poor little introvert is up there on the stage. So what happens is I get them up there and I'll say, okay, on the count of 3, I'm going to ask you to freeze. 1, 2, 3, freeze. So they're still. So I got them still for a reason. So that when I ask them questions, the body begins to speak. Because I'm present, then I know what line of questioning to go in. And most people, they're not going to do what Michael Phelps did to become a champion. They're not going to do what Simone Biles did to become a champion. They're not going to do the things it takes to be the greatest because it takes a lot of work. If it is, everybody would do it. And so in addition to having the science that to back me up, I also have the Holy Spirit and the gifts that God has given me to fuse them together. So all the glory goes to my Lord and Savior. All the glory goes there. And so it's just important in my prayers to strengthen that which I need to use to bring them closer unto you. And that's part of my prayer. So, and I listen, most people that don't know me, so you guys got to know me. You see me around. Most people think I'm shy. I had a speaking engagement in Arizona, and I never forget. It was sponsored by one of my favorite airlines. And they said to the host, and she introduced us, here's our speaker, our keynote speaker tomorrow. And I'm shaking the hands and meeting everybody. And the woman said to someone, she's our speaker. She's a little mousy little thing, isn't she? She's a little mousy little thing. Well, I'm just sitting. I mean, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to keynote at the lunch table? I'm listening, learning, and all that kind of stuff. And then it was after the presentation that she came over and apologized and says, Lord, a tornado just came through here. But because I'm naturally, people that know me, I'm naturally quiet because I'm observing things all around me. I'm observing. And so that's one of the things, if you could just be present in the present, you know when your children are not telling the truth. What is it? Why do you know that? What are they doing? Make note of that. You know there's something wrong with your husband, your wife, your partner, your spouse. When you say, how was work? You know something's wrong. You know something's wrong. Make note of that so that you could begin to pick that thing up in everyone else.
This is awesome. This is all, and I'm reading all of the comments. Everyone is thanking you. I'll make sure that I forward these to you, Linda.
So nice.
what everyone is saying. I think, Isaac, was that you that asked that Linda have an email or something like that? An email list or something? Was that you?
Yep, that was me.
Yeah, I think someone was, is there some way, some other way we can contact you, Linda? So
Yeah, I'm putting it in here right
Yeah, I
now.
was on the website because I thought I heard you say it, Brother Bedford, but maybe I heard wrong. I definitely joined your newsletter, Brother Bedford, but I thought she said she had one as well, so I was just asking.
Okay, so I just sent my emails to everybody because what I had to come up with that email. My website is my name, but I had to come up with that email, Linda Reads People, because I would do presentations at conferences on sales and nonverbal skills, and people would just walk out. Rather people say, "What did you learn?" Girl, she read people. So I said, "Okay, what the heck?" Rather than say, "Hey, I learned the key strategies to close a deal," or I learned to increase my efficiency or my closing percentages, they just walk out. Girl, she read people. So that's why I came up with the email, Linda Reads People. That's
this is
because
so
let's give the people what they want, right? Give them
that's
what
right.
they
Oh,
want.
that's what the OJ said, right? Give
That's
the
what
people what they
OJ
want.
say.
Yeah, and I just love this, Linda. And you're one of the things I'm always stressing, and you're just the perfect example of this, is that you're so unique in your entrepreneurship. I'm always saying, whatever your gifts, your talents are, you got to find a way to differentiate yourself and lean into that. And you are just the perfect, because there is nobody like Linda Clemons. There's nobody. And I mean, nobody like Linda Clemons. So I just thank you from the depths of my heart, big sis. You know, I love you to death. Y'all know I can't even get off. Now I can't even get off. Now we didn't hit some chord and I'm just sitting here, but I know we got to go. I want to be respectful of your time. I'll make sure. So to your question, Francois, yes. Again, those who go over to the newsletter, I'll make sure that you get, and that's at brotherbedford.com. I'll make sure that you get the replay. And then of course, stay tuned. We got some other stuff that
Got some other good stuff. I'm planning in 24 a live master retreat weekend, and Barrett will tell you, anybody that's attending my live events, you know, and Audrey knows I feed you well, take care of you, all kinds of good stuff. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
we're gonna stay connected. So thank you once again, Linda. And again, I can just keep reading all of these. Everybody keeps saying thank you, so I could keep reading them, but I'll send them to you. This has been a great night. Did you all have fun tonight? Did you enjoy this?
I have fun.
Let me ask you this. Do you want Linda to come back? Look at that. Everybody wants Linda to come back. So we definitely got to make sure that we continue this process. And so again, thank you so much, Linda, for your time. Everybody, again, this has been a wonderful evening. Make sure you tell someone what they missed out on, and hopefully they can get on the next call next month. So everyone have a great
Can I
evening.
leave some closing words here? Because we're
Sure,
coming up on the
please.
holiday. And there are a lot of people that have lost loved ones. So as we're, remember the reason for the season, as we're in the middle of the holiday, you know, reach out to someone who might have lost someone or going through something. You know, this is the season to just remember the importance to do your giving while you're living. And that's so critical, not just material things, not just monetary things, but sometimes the gift of your presence can mean a lot to someone who perhaps is suffering mild depression or just going through something. So just because it could be either one of us. And so I wish you all well, blessings, peace, prosperity. You know, stay young. This is my birthday month. My niece's friend said, "Yo, your auntie don't act her age." And I told my niece to tell them no one gave me the handbook on how you're supposed to act every age of your life. So, you know, I live my life in curiosity like a child and just love people. And I said, Lord, just keep me preserved for the work that I have to do. So again, Brother Bedford, thank you all. And thank you all for staying up. I appreciate you. I have a flight in the morning. I got to get out of here, a flight in the morning, but nothing beats this. So I'm going to be going with you all on my mind and on my heart.
Thank you so much, Linda. I can't follow up with that. Everybody have a great evening. Talk to you soon. Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Good
Linda.
night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Happy birthday. Merry Christmas. Happy birthday.
Good night.